just a kiss. A sigh is just a sigh. The fundamental things apply.
Wow, it's really dark in here. Can I get a little light, please? Oh, whoa. Thank you, thank you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Warner Brothers Studio Tour Hollywood. You might not know this, but this is one of Hollywood's oldest studios. And for the past century, Warner Brothers has been making movies, TV shows, music, video games, all the entertainment you love right here in this very location. I mean, not in this room exactly, but all around us. Actually, watch this. You'll see what I mean.
I need you to help me make a fake movie.
Came to the right place.
Hey, Stella!
Very pleased we have so much time and so little to see. Wait a minute. Like that. Reverse it.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
The stuff that dreams are made of.
What is that supposed to mean?
What do you mean?
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm looking for someone to share in an adventure.
Look at this. This place is huge. Over 110 acres. There are 35 acres of backlot, 30 sound stages, hundreds of offices, workshops, bungalows, a gas station, a firehouse, and a gym. We even have our own Starbucks and a coffee bean. This part of the studio is called the front lot, where most of the business stuff happens between studio executives and lawyers and agents and lawyers and lawyers and lawyers. If you listen closely, you can hear them negotiating. The front lot also includes the sound stages and the mill, where thousands of creative people are busy working to bring new ideas to the screen. The sound stages were originally built for movie production, but many of them are also home to some of the most beloved TV shows of all time.
How do I look?
Bazinga!
These shows travel the world from our home here in Burbank and are seen by millions of Earthlings all around the planet.
¿Lista? Una, dos, tres.
¡Cumpleaños feliz! Mr. Beanの歩き方!
正解です!
So wollten auf der Highschool die Girls nichts von uns.
Weil wir unbeholfen und schräg waren und keinen Sport mochten.
Wieder richtig!
And this is the Ellen stage where we shoot my daily show. Warner Brothers is a very special studio, and it's not just for the shows or the movies that make it special. There's something about the place itself and the people who work here, and I'm not the only one who feels that way.
It was 7 of the best years of my life, working with some of the best people.
The sense of the place and the great filmmakers who have preceded you here and everything. It's very inspiring.
Being on this lot and looking around these streets and beautiful sets and all these sound stages and thinking, wow, this is where they made those movies that I was in love with as a kid.
The back lot is where we shoot exterior locations. The sets and facades there have been turned into thousands of different locations, from the crowded city streets of New York, London, and Paris to a deserted jungle island. So, are you ready? You're about to get closer to the entertainment you love. You know, the entertainment like this.
And here we...
Go ahead. Make my day.
If you're the police, where are your badges?
Here's your car, officers.
All right, everybody act cool.
Round up the usual suspects. If they move, kill them.
That'll be the day.
What's the harm in a little kick?
Here's Johnny.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
This is going to be such an exciting day. I hope you enjoy it. I think you will.
There is no place like home. There is no place like home.
Here's looking at you, kid.
This is so amazing.
I'm looking for someone to share in an adventure. At Warner Brothers, we are storytellers.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
It's built into the very foundation of who we are.
What is it?
The stuff that dreams are made of.
For 100 years, we've been dream makers.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me. Who's got you?
Trendsetters
Yeah, baby.
and trailblazers.
It is our destiny.
One studio
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
and countless stories that have inspired a century.
And here we go.
The stories we tell have allowed us to fall in love.
Wherever you are in the world, that's where I belong.
They've given us comfort. They've given us strength.
There are 5 billion people on this planet, and you're the perfect mom for me. What are the odds of that?
Together, we found laughter really is the best medicine.
In or out?
Okay, well, then I'm out. Oh, you know how to get me fired up.
I was drag racing.
In a Prius.
I don't win a lot.
What is Chandler Bing's job?
Oh, he's a trans monster. That's not even a word.
Here's Johnny.
And while the world can be full of frightful things, true heroes always stand united in the face of adversity.
Can I be like you someday?
You can be anything you want to be.
How many of you are there?
Not enough.
We will do what is hard. We will achieve what is great.
Along with those champions of good,
You just became my very last patient.
who proved you don't need to have powers to be powerful.
I believe in hope. I believe in belief.
Give me a number on my back. You will remember me. Epic journeys will always be afoot.
I'm going on an adventure.
Fierce battles will always be waged.
This is Sparta.
And every once in a while, a star comes along that shines so bright, they become legends forever.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Every story, no matter its size,
Release the Kraken.
is worthy of being told.
anybody else just get goosebumps?
Are you ready?
I'm ready to fly.
This is only the beginning.
100 years and countless more ahead. Join us in celebrating every story.
These children, it's so great. Oh, what a touching story. Also, this alley's been featured in countless Batman movies. Well, I shouldn't say countless, I can actually count them all in one hand. But we've got Batman Returns. She thanks him with one of the most notable kisses in film history. It took place against that wall right behind you there.
No, why?
Spider-Man was hanging upside down when Mary Jane pulled his mask off his face, gave him that amazing kiss in the rain. And hey, Mark, what was the problem with that kiss?
Well, I'll tell you, that took, if you time that scene, is 3 minutes. But it took 8 hours to film. And you know, rain doesn't photograph well. You ever seen a football game or a soccer game?
It looks like drizzle in it because it's pouring. Yeah, it doesn't photograph well at all.
So we brought the rain grids in. What we used to use in the rain tanks before we pumped it up was cream oil to thicken it out. Stuff you put in your coffee. Bad stuff.
Not just thicken it up, it also made it more photographable because it wasn't so transparent.
Now what we do is this. It's going into the pipe, going into the sprinkler system. We oxygenate it. We add some oxygen so it gets bigger, heavier by 2%. Here's the problem. It's hung upside down. Water's going down his mouth, up his nose.
Up his nose as he's hanging upside down. It's like being washed. Sight in one eye, so he literally couldn't see his own movie in 3D, and he was somewhat of a pioneer in that regard. If you had come here years ago, you would have seen some carpeting in this alley right here leading to the courtyard over there. That courtyard was turned into the front entrance of the Bank Hotel and Casino from the movie Ocean's 13 with Al Pacino, Brad Pitt, and the rest of the Ocean's crew. So, we have Las Vegas over there. We have old-timey New York over here. It looks like they paved over the Rat Packs, the mark that they left here. There's a lot of them here. No pun intended. Oh, Jimmy Taggy getting shot on these streets. Edward G. Robinson getting shot on these streets. Humphrey Bogart shooting people on these streets. That's what he did.
And Paul Muni leaving these streets.
Paul Muni, George Raft, you name it. And when I mentioned Errol Flynn, he didn't do any of our gangster movies, but he was in a movie. Let's hope it is. You guys can see all these.
Notice too, each corner is different.
It is.
Or vice versa. And all it is a thin material called muslin. Muslin is very lightweight, easy to maneuver. And so you can plop a series of panels through here to get a full ceiling. And then when they don't need them in the shot, they're going to take them out so they can have the air conditioning, the lights, everything up above the actor's head. So you can have the whole room to shoot in. Good stuff.
In particular, chain gangs in the South. And that was kind of like the mantra that Harry Warner wanted. Harry Warner was the patriarch of the studio. Then there was Albert. Then there was Sam, the technician, as Tom pointed out. And then there was Jack. Jack was the youngest. Now, out of the three Warners, there was Harry, Albert, and Sam. They were born in Krakow, Poland. But at the time of their birth, it was part of the Russian Empire. Then, like everything, famine, no work, prejudice, a lot of prejudice in those days. They were Jewish, and they knew what it was like. Their real name, by the way, as far as we know, is Wanskalaser. Yeah.
Doesn't roll off the tongue like Warner, does it? Welcome to Wanskalaser Studios. No, don't.
And Jack was the first one to be born here in the Western Hemisphere. He was born in Ontario, Canada. But Harry was very concerned about how we approach things. There always had to be a moral undertone to the film.
So we were truly a morally driven studio, where a lot of the other studios, they were making lighthearted fair musicals and monster movies, and we were really, in fact, they used to say ripped from the headlines. And so we find whatever social injustice, like our gangster movies were accused of glorifying the mobsters, but they weren't. What they were doing was showing the plight of the man who, a lot of times they'd come back from World War I. They didn't have any work, so they turned to a life of crime. They didn't want to turn to a life of crime, but that was the only recourse that they had at that point. So as a means of cost cutting, or actually saving their productions or saving their companies, studios had to sell off their property. So Columbia sold off their studio property, and they came to our lot and started sharing it with us, and then we made some Batman movies, and we were flush with cash, so we don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Did the original Batman not shoot here
It
then?
shot in England, and I think primarily because Hennessy Street was being used. Was it for Annie at that point? Yeah, Hennessy Street was being used for Annie, and so sometimes we had the intention and the ability to shoot here, but whoops, we're all booked up. Can't we're a pretty busy studio, and that's true for one of the more recent Batman movies with wouldn't have been Ben Affleck. It was Christian Bale. They were going to use stage 16 for the Batcave because it has the waterfall and all the it's just underground wet, and we have a big soundstage with a water tank in it that we couldn't use because it was also being used at the time, so they had to go down to Sony Studios to film the Batcave scenes. We only need one. That's my normal day job over where you see those folks standing. We had to replant trees. We had to clear out the trees. You can still see a few remnants right here.
We had to clean out all this area here. This was pretty. Yeah,
and so the bamboo, this is pretty hardy. It doesn't tend to get ripped out too easy. And we'll just dart ahead all these folks. On our left-hand side and directly in front of us, these structures were built for a TV series called Invasion. That was back, around 2000?
Yeah, early 2000s.
And there was a show that only lasted one season. And this right here is something that we will be taking great advantage of in the near future. It's called a bushwagon, and that's to obscure things in the background that we don't... Forever. There you go, right in front of us. That's where Jim Carrey would have been placing his calling card. And it was used for a show called Pretty Little Liars. This is a character named Allison De Laurentiis' house directly in front of us. And it doesn't get used much these days, so it looks like a spooky old haunted house. And I keep hoping they're going to use it on our show we have here called Shining Vale, starring Courtney Cox and Greg Kinnear. It takes place in this town called Shining Vale, and it's a show about, it's a horror show, but it's a horror comedy about a possession, a demonic possession. And this could be a great house in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Oh no, spooky. Also, we saw a scene from The Last Samurai where there was a house. It was built directly across this little lake. There was a footbridge that led to this shore right here. One of the Annabelles, where you come and get all of your groceries. And Jack Lemmon in this movie, he's a horrible alcoholic, and he comes here trying to get some booze in the middle of the night. And it doesn't go well for him. Also, anybody seen the Muppet movie, the original one from the 1970s?
Yeah.
Kermit the Frog, at the beginning of the movie, is sitting on a fallen tree playing the banjo. That was shot right in here. Jim Henson underwater in a diving bell doing the puppeteer maneuvering, and then Dom DeLuise rose up on his rowboat. Hey, what do we got here?
Well, do you remember Cheyenne? Do you remember Maverick? Yeah. Colt 45, Lawman, Bronco, Sugarfoot. Hey, Adventures of Briscoe County.
There you go. So it was one of your classic Western sets, and we had 3 or 4 of them strewn about on a lot, including like a Mexican town and what have you. And this was a weapon built on
to do the barbecue right there.
So they built an outdoor sort of grill station right here for the TV series, and then they took it out because it's no longer needed. It was just set dressing. And the houses themselves, they have chimneys, but they don't really have, wood-burning fireplaces. They do have propane-burning fireplaces in there, so they can actually have a fire too. And again, they're primarily used for their exteriors, and the reason that is because these are all offices. If you see signs in the windows, such as the one over here that says, what is it? When you drive a car through a house, it's going to damage the house, and we knew that in advance. But the thing is, we were planning on tearing the front of this house out anyway because it was built in the 1940s and the wood was old and kind of worn out and rotten. So we were going to demolish the front, or not just tear it out and then rebuild it. And so we told all the people who worked here at the studio on the different productions, hey, we're going to tear this down. Does anybody want to use it for anything beforehand? And Pretty Little Liars said, yeah, well, we'd actually like to drive a car through the front. And the studio said, well, thank you. That's going to help us with our demolition. So the production paid for it. And then they rebuilt it beautifully like this. Other things, we had a show called AJ and the Queen that shot here for a period of time. This was a character named Lane's house, or shall I say, this was Kim's Antiques on Gilmore Girls. What else you got here?
The Geller House. And then he comes out with that really harrowing line. He said, I'd have to gut you like a fish. That was filmed right here.
And I believe the first thing that when he sees him, when Jimmy Stewart opens the door, he says, "Wow, I haven't seen you in 20 years." That was a little nod to the last time they worked together. They were in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance together. And so that was literally just like a little nudge, wink, wink, like.
And that, and I'll tell you, the director was Don Siegel, who had a great career with Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry.
Pretty fake looking when it comes right down to it. However, if it's supposed to be a garden party and people are out here, sitting at tables and somebody's walking by with a tray of hors d'oeuvres or cocktails, you're focusing on the actors. You're not looking at the ground, so you can totally get away with this. However, if it's a scene where there's a kid playing with his dog in the grass, this isn't going to cut it. So they're literally going to bring in sod. They're going to lay sod down here, have a nice lawn, and then they're going to take it all up and put it back into, hopefully in the green department, and it'll survive. Other times you just see it wither and fade. Police department is responsible for things like these plants here, which will be placed around in various locations in their planter boxes, and then they're going to try and hide them with various things. They're going to put shrubs around the planter containers and tell us, hey, look, area through the window. So they did a lot of through the window shots of him in the house. All the action took place in sound stages here at the studio, and then on location in places like Salinas. They were in, off the coast.
I think they're up near Santa Barbara, that area.
Yeah, but they were even further up. They were at the Little River Inn, which is
way up there.
On the coast, like well north of San Francisco. I'm trying to remember the name of the town right now. Doesn't matter. Let's go. And you can see the windows blacked out up there. They use this material called duvetine to block out all the light. And that means that they were actually filming interiors in there recently, and that's to make it look like nighttime in there. So she gets launched out of there, lands on the lawn over here, and of course it's winter.
That's right,
There's a face plant in the snow.
Wow.
Pretty cool stuff. That's all. They were like, "Stay strong, brothers."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then it was used as a Jewish bris in Lucifer.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not caught up on Lucifer. The gazebo in the town center was redressed to look like it did on the show Gilmore Girls before. Once the brick had this little canyon on the side, sort of Dixie. The Swarm film here. East of Eden, as I already mentioned. Yankee Doodle Dandy film scenes here. Oh, and I mentioned that scene with Paul Newman getting arrested for cutting the heads off the parking meters. See where cart 32 is right there? There was a sidewalk with a row of parking meters placed in it, and that's where he was cutting the heads off the parking meters right there. Now he was drunk, just laughing away, getting arrested. See modern in there. You see the dolly tracks? The dirt, I love that. That's the car right in front of them. And now it looks very much the same for the movie East of Eden, directed by Elliot Kazan back in '55 with James Dean playing Cal. We were just in his house down the way. The next thing you're going to see is from Jersey Boys. They're pulling up to a location right next to us. What they're doing is they're casing the joint so they can rob a safe. And they end up driving through a business next around the corner right after this. And it turns into a cupcake shop from Pretty Little Liars, Lucky Leon's Cupcakes. And you can see a character named, who is this, Abigail? No. Aria. One of the Pretty Little Liars. And then here we have Gilmore Girls. The very first shot you're going to see takes place in springtime. The snow is melted. Now look at this. It's a winter wonderland. This is all fake snow brought in by a company called Snow Business, centered out of Hollywood. And they've dressed everything, and they've done what's called color correction to give it that nice blue tint. And look at the trees, they're all white and frosted. And when I say they're frosted, what they've done is they've removed the leaves from the lower portion of the tree so you can just see the bare branches, and then they frost them with this. It's basically cornstarch and water. But I mean, specifically, you've got, your painters who are doing all the paintings on the walls and then hanging actual paintings on the walls. It's a town in Texas. Anybody know the name of the town in Texas?
Medford, Texas.
Medford, Texas.
And there's a Medford, Massachusetts.
There is definitely a Medford, Massachusetts. That's the one that I'm familiar with.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. Mark's from there. I went to graduate school there. Love Massachusetts.
Starring James Dean, who also filmed here in Rebel Without a Cause.
This place appealed to you or something?
It was Cherokee Flats, Kansas, in the Learning Tree. Directed by Gordon Parks, the first African-American to direct a film for a major movie studio. Doris Day walked by these same storefronts in Lucky Me. And the church house is where Jimmy Stewart was married in the FBI story. Killer bees attack the church and the whole Texas town of Marysville in The Swarm, starring Olivia de Havilland and Michael Caine. The Waltons TV series filmed in various locations here on Midwest Street.
Oh, yeah?
And this entire Backlot set was transformed into River City, Iowa, for the film version of the Broadway musical, The Music Man.
So much fun. There was too much trouble to go all the way back to some place like Texas or Arkansas or wherever they were filming. So we did this here, covered the roads in dirt, put a big backdrop in the background over there, and that would have been a hand-painted backdrop in those days. These days, we use either green screen if the background is supposed to be in motion or something completely fantastical, or we'll just use a giant digital photograph. So when you see somebody in an office in a high-rise, more often than not, it's just a giant digital photograph printed out on vinyl outside of their film. Oh my lord. And then here we have another bit of fun right here on our way as we make our way to the next location. This is called French Street, and it's called French Street for one specific reason for the most part. Watch this.
This sort of takes the sting out of being occupied, doesn't it, Mr. Richard?
You said it. He's looking at you, kid.
This little storefront was Cafe Pierre and is the last standing set from perhaps the greatest romantic movie of all time, Casablanca. In the memorable Paris flashback scene, Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman were filmed in this exact spot in 1942 as their characters learn of the approaching enemy soldiers.
Nothing can stop them now. Wednesday, Thursday at the latest, they'll be in Paris.
Richard, they'll find out your record. It won't be safe for you here.
While actor Paul Henreid didn't get to dine at this cafe while working on Casablanca, this same storefront was used as a cafe in Rio de Janeiro in Now Voyager, starring himself and Betty Davis.
And we did start off on a tour.
Merci.
And there was a train station in both of those movies. It was the exact same train station shot to be the coffee shop inside. So it was a full working, full-scale coffee shop. And it was
Such a good film that
real
was.
Location on our lot. They made believe in the movie that we actually had a coffee shop there on our back lot. Nope, we don't.
Never know. And also, too, for the third season, you, that was the baker.
Looked much more like Paris on this side of the street as well as that side of the street. So much history. Speaking of history, do we have any hardcore Friends fans? Yes or no?
Yeah, I enjoy it.
All right, we're going to stop right over here really quickly and just we're going to take a walk to the fountain. Nobody's there right now. So let's hop out and get to that couch. To that.
No one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you broke, your love life's the away. It's like you're always stuck in second gear, when it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you when the rain starts to fall. I'll be there for you like I've been there before. I'll be there for you 'cause you're there for me too. You're still in bed at 10 and work again at 8. Burned your breakfast so far, things are going great. Your mother warned you there'd be days like these, but she didn't tell you when the world was brought you down to your knees. That I'll be there for you when the rain starts to fall. I'll be there for you like I've been there before. I'll be there for you 'cause you're there for me too. No one could ever know me, no one could ever see me. Seems you're the only one who knows what it's like to be me. Someone to face the day with, make it through all the rest with. Someone I always laugh with, even at my worst, my best with you. Yeah.
James Cagney. It was the Washington, D.C. Bureau of Printing and Engraving in an episode of Wonder Woman.
Well, now, shall we see how we make money? This is our main printing room with the presses printing various denominations of bills.
Boy, I'll bet there's plenty of dough in this little shack.
It was Gotham Trust in babyface, foreshadowing what the courthouse might best be known for as the Gotham City Police Department in Batman the TV series.
How soon can you get here? Quick as a flash, Commissioner.
They used the same footage of Batman and Robin arriving for all 3 seasons. The woman in the red dress and white gloves gives it away.
It's the Penguin. We'll be right there.
Brilliant.
Run away.
Of course, back in those days, they had no way of foreseeing the future. At the same time, he's filming Winning Time and Shrinking. On our left-hand side, this building with all the windows is a soundstage on one side, but these are offices over here, and all those windows would have been the art department back in the earliest days in the 1930s and 40s. When I say the art department, they did a lot of the fine art here. They also built model. Look at that. There is a water tank underneath the stage. I'm going to play you a video so you'll see some of the movies that have been filmed in here. The water tank has 2 sections, a deep end and a shallow end. I believe the deep end is on the far side over there. This is the shallow end over here. You'll see it being used for movies like The Goonies. This is where they found One-Eyed Willie's pirate ship, which was a replica of Errol Flynn's pirate ship from the Seahawk. You can also see this in movies like, the movie Inception, Poseidon, which is sort of like a reimagining of the Poseidon adventure filmed here. The Perfect Storm filmed here. And again, it's just because of this gigantic water here. Oh, and the movie Dunkirk. Yeah. Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk. Anytime you see a battleship sinking and all the troops inside trying to get out, that was shot in here. When they're swimming away from the boats that are sinking, that was all shot in here.
They raised the stage 30 feet off the ground with hand cranks to reach its current height of 98 feet, instead of adding the height to the top of the stage. This allowed Kane and Mabel to resume production much faster. Since its completion, this stage has housed some incredibly large sets for memorable films, like the park for the Shaboopy dance sequence in The Music Man, the drag race in Rebel Without a Cause, the riverboat poker tournament in Maverick, and the grand finale of The Goonies.
Look at that.
Isn't that something?
Stage 16 houses a giant water tank underneath its floorboards that allows the stage to be filled with millions of gallons of water.
Fantastic.
Wow.
3,000 architectural molds and this American bank brick found in stone walls for film and television. The design studio underneath us has large-scale printers that allow us to print billboards for marketing and backdrops for productions, while graphic artists design signs and imagery here. On an average day, there are 200 to 300 people here at the mill.
And you see these right here, these buttresses?
Yeah.
Really bad Paul Newman film. Whenever it would play, when he was alive, he would take an ad out apologizing. It was called The Silver Chalice.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
And there's a scene, very avant-garde, ancient.
So there's no guarantee you're going to come in here and see the Resolute desk, but here it is. If anybody's a fan of the TV show The West Wing, this is the desk that was used for The West Wing. Also, My Fellow Americans, starring Michael Douglas and was it Annette Bening?
Yes.
And then,
Scandal.
Veep.
And Jackie, I think, was on Netflix.
And also, what was the one with Jack Lemmon, The American President? And then My Fellow Americans was the one with Jack Lemmon. So The American President was Michael Douglas and Annette Bening, and then My Fellow...
You mean the Liz Taylor one?
Yes.
I doubt it because that was Chirchini Todd.
Okay, and I heard that these were in that, and I always doubted that, and I thought you'd be an expert on that. And
I would say, yeah.
That's apocryphal, that's what we say.
These were in Inception, were they?
These were not. Those lanterns right there were, as well as the chair down at the end over there, and those samurai sort of statues right there were all in the opening scene where he's in Ken Watanabe's dream mansion palace.
Yeah.
So do you have any titles aside from Hot Shot Part 2? Hot Shot Charlie Sheen's finest work.
One that he's known for.
Yeah. I saw something recently that Camille showed me something that he's written. I can't remember what it was. These panels right here. She shows me stuff all the time. We have this resident historian named Camille O'Leary, and she's always showing me random stuff from movies that I've never heard of. That's great, Camille. Show me something I know. This is not the throne from Game of Thrones. This is the throne from an episode of Conan O'Brien's show, Conan. Hugo Weaving, of course. Those are essentially puppets that they used for very limited puppetry in front of a green screen so they could have thousands and thousands of Agent Smith. Anybody watching the John Wick movies?
Oh, yeah.
Keanu Reeves, man, what a guy.
Wow, he can survive anything.
Right? Well, in that movie, he survived getting hit by a car about 10 times. He just walks it off.
Exhausting.
Guys, there's a... Did we talk about the Tiffany lights, the Tiffany chandeliers?
Oh, yeah.
We got two of them, one here, one there. Tiffany chandeliers are very, very expensive, very rare. These two right here are worth over $1 million for the set. And they don't go out anymore. They live here in this room. Just very, very fancy decoration for our...
You'd let them out for the right price, though, wouldn't you?
Well, here's the crazy thing. We didn't even know they were real Tiffany chandeliers at first. Look at that. What?
How risky?
Oh, much like the costume department, as I was mentioning, you're going to use your set dressing to create character, and it has to be period correct. So if you look in here, we've got old typewriters, boom boxes, we've got telephones. Look at the telephones over here. It shows you sort of like the technology museum at Warner Brothers, because you have like the 1920s phones, so leading up to we have boxes and bins filled with flip phones from like the 80s and 90s, or big console phones.
And in 1981,
with David Soul. David Soul.
And
This is just stuff that came from any old production. So whenever we wrap a production, we send everything back either to the prop house or corporate archives if it's something really special. This came back from the movie Grumpy Old Men.
Good film, though.
Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon.
Yeah.
Last screen appearance. And Grumpier Old Men, which was
and Grumpier Old Men. And that one had...
So when somebody wants to search for something, is it like Google? They can say, right, I want this, and it'll tell them what you've got.
It's getting easier these days. Still, we don't have a 100% catalog of everything. But yeah, back in the day, it would have been much more difficult. You sort of have to come here and hope for the best. And it's a dedicated Warner Brothers website that you would be going to. So yeah, you just look on our database and you should be able to find the
While I was shopping for a HBO project called True Blood. A set decorator's job is to basically create the world that the actor is going to live in. It's the character's life on film. You start with a script. You break down that script into characters and sets, and there's no words involved. And that's really what the set decorator's job is. How can I tell you who this character is and what's important to them and what's important to the filmmaker's vision, strictly in the terms of furniture? To hang those drapes and hang those lights and find that perfect ugly sofa that matches the character perfectly. When you come to Warner Brothers property, what you're doing is looking for all the elements that visually help the audiences believe what they're seeing is real. Everything you see behind us came off a Warner Brothers film or television show, and we've been here for 90 years, so we have quite a collection of items. It's about 5 house loads a day going out the door, so it's a very busy place. This building means a lot to me. I grew up in it. I started here my very first day on the job, and it really is a unique and special place. And I like stuff, and we have a lot of stuff.
Yes, we do. Right here in the Air Green Trailer Park, right there against the side of the stage. also see this whole thoroughfare right here in movies such as Inside Daisy Clover. That was with Natalie Wood. She plays a young starlet or a hopeful. You'll also see it in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. All the cowboys and Indians go running off the studio property out onto the streets. It's when they break the fourth wall. It's like all.
And by the way, if somebody knows, and I think Tom, nobody knows how we got our shield. Our probably the most iconic.
Yeah, and like how that came about.
We don't know. We really don't.
Oh, I know. I'm just not telling.
Oh well.
I don't know, you guys. I have no idea.
Cass Warner, Harry Warner's granddaughter. She doesn't know. But so that's the great mystery. How do we get our shield?
Would have in the 1870s. However, they did not change up the look of this building directly in front of us. They thought this was a perfect look for a city that's on the cusp of modernity. So like almost in 1900s, Japan was starting to modernize a bit, and so this would have been a little bit of a Western influence.
Humphrey Bogart walked along New York Street as Detective Sam Spade in the classic film The Maltese Falcon. His apartment in that movie is just around the corner.
Right down
New
here,
York Street was also the starting line for the great race from New York
right
to
down
Paris,
here.
Lake Edwards County. In fact, the whole street was shot from different directions and became all of New York.
See,
for that
this
movie.
area.
Hard to
But it's a
believe that
curved
this same
area.
street was turned into a futuristic Los Angeles for Ridley Scott's science fiction
Right down
classic Blade Runner. The streets were filled with futuristic cars, shops, and neon signs. And when you strip away all of that set dressing, the transformation is almost
See it right there?
unbelievable.
Putting plantons face
This
front.
is the same spot where Sheldon stole a copy of Raiders of the Lost Ark and was chased by an angry Will Wheaton and friends in the hit sitcom Big Bang Theory.
Why is there never a pontoon plane when you need one?
Again, we watered down the
More
pavement
recently,
because
these
that's very
streets
East
returned into the
Coast.
Burbank studios for the Academy Award-winning motion picture Argo. Director Ben Affleck filmed
Right over
scenes
there
all
on
over the
the,
lot, including this one, which took place at the end of the street, on the courthouse steps.
Now, to the best of our knowledge, that when we came here in 1927, this was First National Studios. What it had at that time was just 4 sound stages with a little bit of the New York street, and we only had 62 acres. After we got done acquiring everything, we grew to 110 with 30 sound stages and about 34 acres of an active backlot. The backlot was larger prior to 2004, but we had to make some changes.
Did I miss the movie? That's sad. This does get used from time to time. The last episode of Succession, and nobody's watching you guys.
What you said?
Succession is so great. Oh, really? Oh, we saw the regular clip for New York Street when we were in the location over there, but we also have a classic clip. Some of these will be, again, repeats.
New York Street was transformed into a futuristic Los Angeles for Ridley Scott's Blade Runner. But for Humphrey Bogart, it was San Francisco in the 1941 noir thriller, The Maltese Falcon.
Here we go.
The same street is seen in Them as military forces prepare to battle giant ants. And it was the starting line for the great race from New York to Paris. The theater on the corner was featured in the musical 42nd Street. And the side alley was used in Deception, starring Bette Davis.
I beg you.
New York Street was also home to Vincent Price's infamous House of Wax in the first film from a major American studio in color, 3D, and stereophonic sound.
Oh, where's someone with a bag of popcorn?
Back in those days, 1952, and it burned down the entire New York set. The two elements that survived were right here. The courthouse survived, and also this facade right here survived, covering up stage 24. Everything else was burnt down, but they rebuilt it from the original plan, so it looks exactly like that.
Hola. Hollywood. Do.
Hello everyone and welcome to Griffith Observatory's Tesla coil demonstration. Who's excited to see it? Yay! That's it? Should I go home? Who's excited to see it? Yay! All right, a little better. All right, now let me tell you about how we're going to proceed. I'm going to show this to you in a series of bursts. This is because it has caught fire in the past, and I'm sure we can all agree we prefer fewer fires in California. Yeah. In between these bursts, I'm going to tell you all about it, who invented it, what it's been used for, and more. All right, get ready. 3, 2, and 1. All right, so what we have here is a series of coils functioning as a resonant or oscillating transformer. Now, what does this mean? This means this is functioning a little bit like a big Wi-Fi box for electricity, right? It is creating or generating a wireless electric field all the way around it. And we have something in there to prove to you that this is actually happening. Have a look, see if you can find our little clue. Now you might have noticed right at the front we have that transparent box that spells out Tesla coil when I activate it. If you have a look on the way out, you will see there are no wires or anything else connected to it. The fluorescent tubes are being excited by the electromagnetic waves from the Tesla coil. Now this device was invented by a man called Nikola Tesla. He was born in Croatia from Serbian parents. His father was a priest, and it was actually his mother that inspired him. He called her a world-class inventor, and he considers that if she had the same education as a man, she could have gone on to do great things. Now, Nikola Tesla had this dream. He wanted the world to have access to wireless electricity. The problem is there are a couple of downsides to wireless electricity through a Tesla coil. The first, you might have heard it. Now imagine it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You're getting up for a glass of water and suddenly, you've woken up everyone around you, right? Not so practical. For that reason, Nikola Tesla actually wanted to have these very, very far out. But that brings us to another issue. The further away you are from it, the less power you are getting from it. So we would need to have massive ones of these built absolutely everywhere in order to build an electric grid. And given people's reactions to wind turbines, for example, I don't think that's going to happen in cities. Now, another issue, it powers everything indiscriminately. So, imagine if one of you here had a pacemaker, right? Little electric device in your heart. In fact, this Tesla coil used to be at the other end of our gallery in the open, and we couldn't activate it during planetarium shows, right? Because it would interact with some of the devices in there. So we installed something else in there to safeguard all of us around it and all of our technology as well. Have a look and see if you can find out what it is. Now, although we are not the LA Zoo, we keep it caged in, right?
와, 나 핸드폰 떨어질 것 같아. 왕. I said I don't know why I'm following you.
stop your crying, it will be alright. Just take my hand, hold it tight. I will protect you from all around you. I will be here, don't you cry. For one so small, you seem so strong. My arms will hold you, keep you safe and warm. This bond between us can't be broken. I will be here, don't you cry. 'Cause you'll be in my heart. Yes, you'll be in my heart. From this day on, now and forevermore.
It's still got the same set out as I remember it.
Let's just be honest.
And the name.
I'm still in an iron whether to pay $200 to build my own lightsaber. That is really clever, really good, isn't it? Get some photos by the Falcon.
excited.
No, era terrible complicado.
Start for the camera, Sam. So you might have like lightning ride cube entry times. Oh man, look at that.
Party of three. BB-8. Prep the ready room for recruits. Commander 9 please report back to IGS cockpit.
Incoming transmission from Ray.
BB-8, is everyone assembled? Good. Shouldn't you be in flight prep? Recruits, thank you for joining the cause. A covert resistance team led by my friend Finn has infiltrated a First Order Star Destroyer that is now headed to this system. Your outpost on Batu is no longer safe. We have transports waiting to take you to General Organa's secret base on Pucara. I'll regroup with you there. The Resistance desperately needs your help in our fight against Kylo Ren and the First Order. Remember, it is vital that you keep the location of the Pucara base secret. Lieutenant Beck, one of our top commanders, will lead you.
Affirmative. Transport is ready. 9 Nominai shall personally see them delivered.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Welcome to the cause. May the Force be with us.
Commander Paul Dameron and a squadron of X-Wings shall escort us to the rendezvous point on Pucara.
Roger, this is Black Leader. I hear you're a fine-looking group of recruits. Well, no time to waste. Let's get you on your way to the General.
Engines are hot. Red 2, let's fly report. Red 2, check.
Big 5 standing by.
Engage propulsions and hold on, recruits. All ships, launch. As you heard from Ray, I have been tasked with getting you to Pucara.
Red 2, Blue 5, keep tight now. Let's get ready to make that jump to light speed on my mark.
Black Leader, we're picking up an unusual signal. Are you spotting anything?
Yeah, I see it. We'll check it out. BB-8, what do you got?
There appear to be a number of small craft heading our way. Raise the shields.
We got company. First Order TIE fighters. Reroute! Reroute! Red 2, Blue 5, we got a clear path so transport can make a jump. They're all under us. I'm hit.
We lost Red 2, more incoming. Blue 5 taking evasive action.
Try to shake him, Blue.
I'm trying, but...
We lost Blue 5. I'm gonna try to cut out the way.
Copy that. Get us clear so we can make the jump.
Be ready. You won't have much time.
Where are all those TIE fighters coming from? Star Destroyers.
Get out of there!
We can't. We're caught in a tractor beam. It's pulling us in.
I'll look at some friends and make this a fair fight. Don't worry, I'll come back for you. Stay strong.
Cargo vessel TR-141, identify yourselves. Prepare to be boarded.
This is TR-141. We are a civilian vessel. By whose authority are we being detained?
By the authority of the First Order, Resistance scum. Now bring down your shields and prepare to be boarded.
Now quick, get out there.
They'll want the location of our secret base. Tell them nothing. The future of the Resistance is at stake.
Definitely a picture of it. Oh, we took a picture of it. Everyone down the hallway.
Clear the ship for search. Scan show the transport is carrying weapons and supplies. Route all passengers to the detention block. Troops, secure the flight deck.
To follow.
Great. Give it to him, Grace. This spray, not that one.
Is that a mini GoPro?
I don't don't know what it is.
This is a GoPro, I think.
No, it's a
We borrowed it from our daughter.
DJI Mavic or something.
That's so cool. What is it, a Mavic?
Yeah, something like that.
And everybody take a look down at your feet. Make sure you're taking the colors side by side.
Is that clear? You what?
I said, I hope we're not in teams because it was like, oh, we lost it.
Leave us. Yes, General.
Enemies of the First Order, we will soon snuff out your meager resistance. You chose the wrong side, and now you will pay. The Resistance prisoners.
You have what I want. You know the location of the secret base, and I will take it from you.
We are needed on the bridge.
Keep the prisoners here. I will return to finish this personally.
Okay, take this corridor to the turbo lift. Then head down to the escape pod base. Those droids are programmed to return you to Batu. Hurry and don't get caught. Lieutenant Beck will guide you.
Recruits, for your safety, stay seated with seatbelts securely fastened. Keep hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the transport and supervise your children. Tell them it's a prisoner transfer. Did it work? Good. Now get a move on. There's a clear path to the turbo lifts at the end of the hallway. Turn right. A probe droid. You're lucky it didn't spot you. Take those turbo lifts and stay out of trouble.
Hey, you're not authorized. Wait, you go to the prison. Give a briefing and pressure lock 3.
Find an alternate route. Who picked these two droids anyway?
Oh, look at them. Detachment EMT. Shut it off! Fire! Anyone back in the blaster? Now's a good time. The escape pod is the floors! Wait, why are you going up? Shut down! Up and back! Up and real bad!
The Resistance will attempt to rescue the prisoners.
They have neither the resources nor the courage to engage us.
You underestimate their conviction. Raise the shields!
Shields? I see no evidence.
Now!
Sound the alarm! All personnel to their stations!
Sir, the prisoners have escaped.
How brave. But ultimately hopeless. There's nowhere to run. Your efforts are wasted. You cannot escape me. Your precious resistance is about to be destroyed.
shots came in a little off target. Ground crews will meet you outside the wreck.
All right, nice job, recruits. Not what you signed on for, but hey, you're resistance now. I think I have that authority. Right, Beck? Where's the lieutenant? I need eyes on Beck. Line up. Staffer is popping.
More escape pods down in Sector 4. Verification pending.
Lieutenant Beck here. Beck! You're alive! I should hope so. Great job, recruits. Thanks to your heroism, the location of the resistance base is secure. Bravo! Yes, R5, you too.
How good was that?
Wait, inquisitive little droid you got there. Just an observation. Suspicious droids are subject to scanning. Wait, very impressive. We'll assume you're a collector and not.
Safety reminders for everyone. Please remain seated. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the mysterious temple of the Forbidden Eye, where Indiana Jones is searching for his lost treasure. I have no idea why he keeps searching over there when I'm sitting right out here every day. Spray my boat with water, but it's not. He's gonna get us. He's coming back up. Everyone, get down, get down, get down. I gotcha. Sleeping zebra. Oh, it's so kind of them. That zebra does look dead tired. We'll get out of here so it can rest his feet. Wow. I've never seen anything like that before. That's the first even for me. There were so many rocks on that beach. Those actually aren't monkeys, they're apes. Oh my goodness, but look at these two, they're definitely monkeys.
Salagadoola, metricaboola, bibbidi bobbidi boo. Put them together and what have you got? Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Salagadoola, metricaboola, bibbidi bobbidi boo. It'll do magic, believe it or not. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Now salagadoola means a metricaboola roo. But the thing in the bob that does the job is bibbidi bobbidi boo.
Put them together and what have you got?
It'll work magic, believe it or not. Oh, baby, baby, the solid.
But the dip's so quick by the time she like alert of like, oh, here I am.
You guys can do it. You guys can do it. I'll just go to the store.
You came for this is the moment magic was made for. Come on, let's light up the sky now. You feel the magic happening right now.
Tell Caitlin to come on the call. Searching my arm now. Up if you're fed up.
Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything? Look at this trove, treasures untold. How many wonders can one cavern hold? Looking around here you think, sure, she's got everything. I've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I've got who's its and what's its galore. You want thingamabobs? I got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. I want to be where the people are. I want to see 'em dancing, walking around on those, what do you call 'em? Oh, feet. Flipping your fins, you don't get too far. Legs are required for jumping, dancing, strolling along down a, what's that word again? Street. Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun, wandering free. Wish I could be part of that world. What would I give if I could live out of these waters? What would I pay to spend a day?
Those human thingies that make you not a fish. Legs! That's what this story's all about. Oh, this is such a great story about how Ariel became a woman. But that Ursula, oh, she's so mean. I'll make you human if you give me a voice, she says.
So much down here. There's no reason to go up there. Don't you understand, Ariel? This is where you belong. You may think the water's always blue in summer. Darling, it's winter. Down where it's winter. Take it from me. Up on the shore they work all day. Out in the sun they slave their way. While we give 40 time floating under the sea. The fish is happy, it's off to the waves they roll. The fish on the land ain't happy, but they set goes the empty bowl. But fish in the bowl is lucky, they love the fate. One day when the boss get hungry, yes you go beyond the page. Oh no, under the sea. Under the sea. Nobody beat us, fry us and eat us in fricassee. We want the land folks love to cook. Under the sea we off the hook. We got no troubles, life is the bubbles. Under the sea. Under the sea. Since life is swinging, we got to be here naturally. Let's get it anyway.
See for yourself. Are your such powers? Or will you try? giants, not dolce to me. I admit that in the past I've been a nasty. They weren't kidding when they called me, well, a witch. But you'll find that nowadays I've mended all my ways, repented silver-lined and made a switch. Yes. Oh, unfortunate souls.
Pay close attention. This is the closely and follow along in your minds. I will lead you through a series of choices. Choices you will all make on your own, but do not speak your choices aloud. We dare not risk influencing the fragile threads of the multiverse. Notice the possibilities, the various places where the staff might be. Xandar, the London sector, even Westview. The map is governed by the power of numbers as described in the Book of the Vishanti, which reveals that key numbers will unlock secrets to the multiverse. To locate the spectral staff, think of your own mystic number between 5 and 15. Any number between 5 and 15, you. The number between 5 and
How are you all today?
Thor, we're not here to have a meet and greet, alright? Where's the spectral staff? I summoned the spectral staff from the vault of Adam's
Spectral staff.
Yeah,
and that is best and me.
Correct. Yep, you figured it out. So where is it?
Hypothetically speaking.
Okay, let's not get into hypothetical stuff. Wait a minute. Look at this.
That was gonna.
Hold on! You've truly protected this ancient sanctum, and our reality is safe because of your power. Except those of you who didn't do the spelling, not very useful. The rest of you.
Ja, kan det.
Jag fick ju förutse.
Selected you to fill our quota, and they'll haunt you until you return. Now I will raise the safety bar, and a ghost will follow you home.